Welcome to Spike on It. My name is Dexter Baga, and this is Spike number 1. I've been reading about serverless architecture in the last few weeks, and it got me interested to learn how to transform or convert a web application, in this case a Node.js web application, into a serverless app. So my learning session for the next few spikes would be about that transformation and experience and learn how to do that. Now, it may not be perfect, but I'd like to understand how to put things together, how to put the puzzle together so that I can come up with a serverless application. So first, whenever I start a new project, I typically just make sure that everything that I do is in a repository. So the first thing that I would do is to create a repo for this test application, this project that I'll be using for the next few spikes, where we would transform a regular web application into a serverless app. So let me start a project, and it's going to be a very simple app. It's going to be my phone book, and we'll give it a simple description here. Phone book app to serverless, right? Let's keep it public. So if you ever need to see the code and would like to follow along for this within this spike, then you can always go online and grab it, grab a copy of it. So I'd like to add a git ignore for it, and it's going to be a node application. So we'll select node. It's here somewhere. There you go. And here, MIT license will be fine, and we'll just create the repository. So we have a phone book repo. So I'd like to clone this now on my machine to start working on the project. Okay, so I'm going to say perfect. So let's go to the project folder. Let's see what it has. It has our git ignore file and the license file, and that's perfectly fine. So now let's start to really create the web application. I'm going to use WebStorm from JetBrains. It's a wonderful development tool. Now you may use the VS Code, Visual Studio Code, or even Notepad++ if you prefer. But I'm going to use JetBrains WebStorm. Okay, we'll create a new project, and we will try to create a Node.js app and to my phone book. We'll create and we'll say no. All right, so this is building the project. Now, while it's building that, you could also, if you don't have WebStorm, you can simply go to expressjs.com and follow the steps that is in there getting started on Express Generator. And this will walk you through the steps to build the sample Node.js web application, which will look exactly what we'll have here once it's done creating it. So great, so it looks like the project is being created. If I run it, and now if I browse to it, this is typically a 3000 port number, and so I have that sample web application running. and I'm gonna dock this on the right. Great. So what I like to do is a simple app which simply displays, for now, displays a name and their phone number, and maybe a few lines of that with, you know, some names with their own corresponding numbers. So first thing, simplest thing that I can do here is maybe even change the header, change the name. Okay, so it looks like the title that we have here that currently says Express is being provided to us from, most likely from the route. So I'm gonna go there, just adjust this a little bit. Great. Okay, so it says Express, so I can just, so if I could change that to my phone book app, save that, and then we refresh this and refresh the page, and it says my phone book app. Now what I need is to again display the names and their phone numbers. So what I'd like to do then is to maybe just create some sample data. In this case, it's going to be a list of phone book entries. And a phone book entry would at the very least have a name. And let me put my name here. And maybe my phone number. And this is not really my phone number, just a sample number. And I think I'll have two more. Fix that. Give it a different phone number just so it's obvious. Right, that should be good enough. This one could be Julie Parks. All right. So I have that data. So now we'll just have to push that data into the view. So I'm just going to say, so this is going to be the data. Well, it's a phone book, so it's going to be a list. And then I will pass in the data. Now in the view, I'm going to get rid of the welcome title here. What I really want is something that would just give me a simple list. Have that. And let's say it's just texture. And I just want to test if this is really the structure I want. Okay, well that works. So now that we have a list that's given to us, we're just simply going to say each of the item in list. And now Jade really enforces tabs here, indentations, I meant. So we're going to template the data into the view, and I'm going to say item.name. And before going any further here, let me just save this and just refresh the page. Okay, so let's see here. The error says alright, so each item in list, which is the one that's being provided to us, we will have an item with the name. That looks to me, let me try it again. There you go. I just had to restart the web app to get that change set up. So now I need the phone number right beside the name. At the very least, we can display the phone number, and we can say simple and the phone. I'll just save that, restart, and refresh. There you go. So now we have a web app that is going to display just names and phone numbers. Now the data um, is currently fake, so we're just hard coding the data, but this could come from a database, and we might do that later on. But for now, I think this is a good start. We will be going through a couple of spikes for this particular learning session. Again, the learning session is all about getting through the process of transforming a regular Node.js web application into a serverless app. So, what I'd like to do now is to check out and maybe push this up to the push the changes or this new project files up to the repo. So we have here a few files in the project folder. Now there are some folders I'd like to ignore here. Great. So I don't really want the .idea to be even pushed to the repo. So what I'd like to do first before moving any further is to change my ignore, and I'm going to say this is going to be for WebStorm, and I'm just going to save a idea. Save that. All right, great. So I'm going to say git add all of them. Now all those are staged now. I'm going to git, and what I'm going to say is initial project commit baseline web app. All right, that looks good. So now let us just make sure that we're pointing at the at the correct repo, and put that in here. Oh, okay. Well, we did clone it, so I think we can just simply push it. All right. Great. I think this is a good stopping point for the spike. Till next time, keep spiking.